What is going on with Bitcoin, y'all? We see the crypto market is starting to take a little bit of momentum and building up. Will it last? And there's also a new approach, a new technology that I'm seeing being implemented right now. It has a dual value. Talk about Bitcoin. So right now we at 52,000, and look at that, 5 years from 2019 when y'all was complaining about it being 3,000 and change. If you held on, you 10x your money in 5 years. This is how you got to look at these investments. It has the technology, of course, blockchain, and there's only a limited supply. So it's going to make the price kind of surface up as long as there are interests in there. When people are not as interested, they're going to liquidate. It's going to make the value of the coin actually drop. Let's look at Litecoin. 1 year mark, it's at negative 32. It's not doing as well as Bitcoin. I have a lot of Litecoin right now at this moment. And in terms of 5 year span, it's only up 63%. Not as much of a big momentum as we have seen, but I think it has huge potential. That is why I'm holding on to. Like pretty much, I feel like Bitcoin reached puberty. It reached its climax, but Litecoin is nowhere near that. Let's look at Ethereum. 1 year mark, not doing as well as Bitcoin did. 5 year mark, 20x. Look at the returns on that. It definitely outperformed Bitcoin in terms of from where it was at within the same 5 year period. I'm not going to even bother with Dogecoin because we already know that's just something that you just buying just to buy. Ethereum has good technology because that is how smart contracts are done. And that's what actually processes the transactions between me either buying or selling or a service or a particular item, and a contract is established. It's done on the Ethereum blockchain. Looking at Polygon, a year ago, negative 32. From 5 years, you would have 200x if you bought into Polygon from 5 years ago. That's why I always say hold on to these things, because you just never know. If it's a couple $100, forget about it. Just put it in there, let it sit down, and then check back in 5 years, and you might be surprised what you find in there. That's how we got to treat investments. We can't panic as the swings are going up and down. And it's not even at its peak right now. Its peak was like at, look at this, right? $2 and change. You would have 500x, 600x at this point, which is crazy. Bitcoin SV is something that Robinhood forced, a lot of exchanges here in the US forced you to liquidate because of regulations that happen, and it tightened things up. I had to move my funds from Robinhood into another exchange in order for it to be sitting there, but I cannot access it until the regulations are happening again in the US. Polkadot, 1 year mark, they're up only 18%. 5 year, they're almost doubled in price and value. But remember, at its peak, it was like 15x. So it's not bad. I do have some of this, but I'm not going in on this. Like, I'm not going ham. Near has a cool technology. From a year ago to now, they're up 33%. From 5 year mark, 180, which is almost doubled in price value. If you think about this, 5 years, they do usually tell you every 7 years when your investments should like normally double in accordance to like inflation, a typical interest rate. So if you are able to outpace that, I think you've done a pretty good job. Don't beat yourself up if you have not seen a lot of these 20x returns. There is actually absolutely no news around what's making Bitcoin shoot up, but there is something else I do want to bring to your attention. There's something called the ERC404 token. So pretty much the way that my developer explained it to me is that it has an NFT part and it has the coin part. So NFTs, the seller puts a price on it and he's selling for this amount, and that's pretty much it. That's how that works. But then there's the other side of it, which is serving as the coin. So when should it appreciate in value? Just like the stock market works, the more people buy into it, the higher the value of the stock. There's a limited supply. Therefore, it's going to make the price go even higher. So it's a combination of those two. This is how this technology works. I'm still looking into it. Before I dive in and tell you a whole lot about it, I'm just giving and broadening your mind, so that way you can at least look into it and we can share some ideas next time we talk about this. It is something I'm planning on exploring, and possibly even having a coin, an ERC404 token that's available for people to purchase. There's a lot of new projects that just popping up left and right. Which one do you invest in? Which one do you trust in? You gotta be within yourself. Make that analysis. Don't let anybody ever press you. You gotta invest in this one or that one. everything comes with risk. Just know that every investment that you do has some risk. There's never a guarantee of return. You got to go in with faith, look at your analysis, and what are the chances that this is going to be successful for the long run. You're going to have losses. One thing I've learned about my investment is that not everything is going to win 100% of the time. And even if 10% of the things win, they outperform the losses that are had across the years, which is the great thing about investment. That's why you stay in it, because you don't know what will ultimately be a guaranteed success. But if you diversify and only one out of everything you've done becomes successful, most of the time it outperforms all your losses, which is the great part. So I'm going to dive into my Grayscale stocks because they're crypto-linked stocks. We're going to check out some of the performances and see how things are doing. So Bitcoin Trust, remember how Grayscale and all these other companies, really it's BlackRock that's been driving to get the ETFs of the Bitcoin. It really hasn't impacted the market as much, quite a bit. It was just a big hype that didn't go nowhere. Yes, your 401k now has the opportunity to purchase some of these ETF if it's available by the brokerage firms. But other than that, it's like we didn't see a huge influx of money going into these things to really beef up the prices. But Bitcoin prices have been going up. So there are some correlations that potentially could have been from this as well. A year ago, this outperformed Bitcoin. Like we've seen, this is like almost 3 times. And within 5 years, it's about the same. So it's almost a 1-to-1 relationship. This 10x your value when it comes to the Bitcoin Cash Trust as well as the actual Bitcoin. So this isn't an alternative. If you did not or don't trust these crypto exchanges and wanted to be exposed to it, and you have a solo 401k like I do, and you wanted to buy individual stocks, but you couldn't buy Bitcoin directly in there, this is also an alternative you can look into. If you have regular brokerage account and you just wanted to buy the crypto-linked stocks but did not want to actually hold the real Bitcoin inside of your portfolio, this is another alternative. This is like another layer of protection because they are regulated by the SEC a lot much more. They link the purchasing and pricing. It pretty much try to track as close as it can to the actual price of increase and decrease to the actual crypto. The one I invested in quite a bit is Ethereum Classic. Year over year, it's almost doubled over 5 years. It's only up, well, it's actually less than double, so it's not that great looking at it over a 5 year span. But I think it has huge potential, so that's why I'm holding on to it. Litecoin Trust, from a year, almost double. From 5 year mark, it's down actually. But the crazy thing, look at this. Like, it went 15x, right, from its starting value in May of 2021. That's when everything was just, like, shooting up like crazy. BCH is one I'm going in on. From a year ago, it's up, like, almost 5x. From 5 years, yeah, it's down, but I'm up quite a bit in there. I'm waiting for it to get back to this, like, $60 point price, and I'll be golden. One thing I learned about investments is if you ride out the down low waves, you buy more, you keep buying more, you're going to outperform a lot of other like markets and ETFs because you're doing like a recurring buying whenever the market is dropping down. Therefore, it's going to increase in value with everything else. So although this seems like, oh yeah, for the past 5 years, you're looking at this had a negative 72% return. But no, what you got to look at is, if you bought it at that time, yes, you would have. But if you're buying it around like this time right here, you're good. You're doing pretty good. And then it peaks back to its highs, like right here. Oh, you're really good. So that's why you got to consistently just keep purchasing. The live peer one I don't have. I did purchase them because they were the first crypto that I purchased that I was able to stake. And it had a 15% stake return at the time per year. So what that equates to value, you're getting about 1.5% on your money every single month. So if you had $1,000, you are getting $15 per month. But for the year, you would end up with the 18% of the 1,000, which is $180. Because it accumulates, the APY accumulates over the course of a year. And they just divide it by 12, and you get that recurring. What I've seen with staking with crypto is that they actually give it to you weekly. Like on Binance, I am staking like Matic, and I'm getting recurring staking rewards every single week that comes through. This is just another alternative that you can look into. And just to give you a quick update on, although I did not want to touch on stocks today, but I got to tell you, PBR, that stock that someone put me on, their forward dividend at 17% is real. I've seen the amount that they've paid out for me in November, December, divided by 12, right? They have been paying me 1.5% every single month in terms of dividends from the $1,000 I invested in them. So it's pretty good. I think I'm going to buy some more probably when it drops. But you got to think about this. It beats inflation. This is better than keeping your money in the bank. Like if you wanted to do the 5% APY return on your money, but by just leaving it in there or put it in one of the CDs, this actually outperforms that because you're beating inflation and you're getting an extra in return. It's pretty much guaranteed, kind of in a sense. They are in the oil business, so cars, as long as cars are running, right? There are things that needs to happen. We're just going to read this real quick. Explores, produces, and sells oils and gas in Brazil and internationally. They're not going anywhere for as long as we're still using this as natural resources to produce different things. Although EVs are here, they do cause harm to the environment, just like any other resources. We just don't see it in the media as much. Don't get me wrong, it could be better. It could be better, definitely in some cases. They are doing deviations of EVs in order for them to make that happen. So this is just another stock if you wanted to earn some dividends. Besides like your crypto staking rewards, you can actually look into. That's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Keep buying recurringly if that's what you choose to invest in. You have the alternatives within like Grayscale markets. You have access to the ETFs now that are linked to Bitcoin and some other ones. But nothing really is making the market like shoot up. There's no news that's making it spike up like this. I think it's just a natural thing that people are doing. I could see it also as a way that people are preserving their money aside from gold, because Bitcoin serves similar purpose to gold, as it doesn't devalue over time because they're a limited supply. Versus gold, there are limited supplies, but you got to dig up for it inside of the earth. So hope you found this insightful. Stay investing out there. Be safe. Peace and love. Trust in Jesus. Like, share, subscribe. Have an amazing one. Thank you so much for checking out my video. My goal is to be able to share as much knowledge, wisdom, experience that I've been given, privilege from God over the years, to be able to give that to you and also be able to receive from you as well. This can definitely be a two-way dialogue. It doesn't have to be one way at all. It's just for us to be engaged. And I'm just continuously sharing as things that I see move along the market. So I hope you find insights, and your feedback is greatly appreciated as well. How can you support me? Right now, I have these wristbands. You can get them at luxury.com. I've been selling them on eBay for quite some time. It just says make your statement. It's just an encouraging, inspirational message. You can purchase these right now, available on there. Eventually, it will be spun off to other things and I'll have other products, but that's one way you can do right now. But most importantly is just making sure you receive something from the content I've given. And if you have any feedback, that is probably the most valuable thing I could say you can give to me. So I appreciate it, and I hope that we can continue to build a long-term relationship with each other and just grow with one another. Peace. And if you have any questions, definitely drop it below.